one of the key reasons why we have to make buses free is because it reduces the assaults on bus drivers. It creates a safer work environment.
Yes, it's the commie solution, the jihadi solution to violence being perpetrated against bus drivers in New York. Make the buses free, because that's the commie solution to everything. And maybe we could steal something here. What could we steal? We've got power. Let's abuse it. There he is, Zohran Mamdani, the commie. Zohran the jihadi. Mamdani, the commie. Perfectly mainstream Democrat Party representative. The Democrats' candidate for mayor of New York City. And have you seen the poll numbers? He's a runaway winner. He's got 52% of the vote. Latest polls, 52% of the vote. And Cuomo, Gropey McGropeface, the groping governor, he's got 28%. And then Curtis Sliwa, I think it'd be fun if Curtis Sliwa won. He's a crime fighter from way back. He's on the side of truth, justice, and the American way. And Curtis Sliwa has 14% of the vote. 14% of the vote for Curtis Sliwa, fighting crime, guardian angels guy, crime fighter from way back. 14% of the vote. And Mamdani, who says that we need to make riding the bus in New York free because too many Democrats are punching and beating bus drivers. And if you just made the ride on the bus free, then they'd stop being criminals. See, because what they really need is a free bus. And that he's got his head wedged so far and deep into his dark and remote region. Just an amazing guy. They had a debate last night, a debate on the stage with Gropey McGropeface, Governor Gropey Cuomo. How many women did he grope? Also, did you see, one of the things that came up last night at the debate was kind of fun. And who was it? It was either the commie or Curtis Sliwa. I think it was the commie who brought up the fact, and I went and fact-checked it, that Governor Cuomo, his father was the governor, his brother's a corrupt anchorman for the Democrat Party, and he spent $60 million taxpayer dollars on his legal defenses as governor, while woman after woman accused him of groping and inappropriate conduct, the likes of which you normally have to go to Joe Biden's house or Bill Clinton's house or Anthony Weiner's house or Jeffrey Epstein's house, another Democrat, by the way, but pay no attention to any of that. Isn't it amazing? So Mamdani, the commie, has 52% of the vote, with Cuomo 28%, Curtis Sliwa 14%. That means that the commie has more, his vote total, 52%, is greater than Cuomo and Sliwa combined. So I think he will handily beat either one of them, since his poll numbers are greater than both Cuomo, longtime Democrat, New York political family, former governor, gropey guy. He let thousands of older people die in nursing homes when he forced everybody to lock down because of the Wuhan Red Death. But we got that. So I've got that, and I've got some audio for you from the New York debate last night. And the commie is, we got to make it free because crime. Now, you don't arrest criminals. You give them free stuff. You say, well, since you're beating and robbing and assaulting so many city employees driving buses and so on, we're going to make it free. That's the solution of a commie. And what do you think that does? Stupid commie. But there you go. That's your Democrat Party. Yes, sir. Also, President Trump, did you see this yesterday? President Trump holding an event at the White House about in vitro fertilization. Are you familiar with this? In vitro. You can call it IVF. You can call it in vitro. I think those are the only. And then that's it. And in vitro fertilization. That's where you get help having a child, having a baby. It's like that. I gotta tell you, I have a close family member. When I saw this yesterday, well, first of all, President Trump making it available and much less expensive, more available, less expensive for everybody, in vitro fertilization. And didn't the Democrats say that Trump was going to ban in vitro fertilization? Because if they're breathing, they're lying. Every breath they take is an imagined lie, a demented fantasy, usually having something to do with genitalia. But that's another thing. But I had a family member, and a man and a woman. She was the one with womb and ovaries and stuff. Could have a childbirthing person, and they were trying very much to have a baby, trying to have a baby, and having some trouble doing it, and doing this in vitro fertilization thing and stuff like that. And I said, oh, well, that's kind of tough. That's a rough thing. And I was in Africa. I was in Ghana, the country of Ghana in Africa. And I was talking to a street vendor that had lots of nice wood carvings, like those African wood carvings that they have in Africa. And talking to this person, and they're a little matching set of a man wood carving and a woman wood carving, and in Ghana. And I said, oh, these are cool. What are these? And I said, oh, well, those are fertility dolls. You give those to someone if they're trying to have a baby, And I said, well, I have this close family member who's trying to have a baby. Should I buy these for my close family member and give them as a gift? And he said, you most certainly should, and then they will certainly have a baby. I said, okay, I'll take them. So I took them and I bought them. And I brought them back to Washington, D.C. I was on an U.S. Air Force airplane, and brought it home. And then I thought about it. I said, they're too stressed out about this. They're not going to get the joke. They're not going to think it's funny. They're going to think I'm being, cavalier or something about it all. So I did not give them the gifts, but I kept them for myself and put them on a shelf at home, always knowing why I had bought them, right? And I got to tell you, I bought them and I brought them home. And about 2 months later, they announced that they're pregnant. And I said, well, the guy in Ghana was right. See, I bought the dolls, and he said if I bought, he didn't say I had to give them to him, but I had to buy them because he's selling them. And so I bought them and I brought them home. And 2 months later, sure enough, 2 months later, hey, we're pregnant. And I was like, and I thought, well, I know why, but you don't. I know why. It's because of the dolls I bought in Ghana. You're welcome. You're welcome, I thought. And then I sat on them, and I had them and go by. And then their daughter, beautiful, wonderful, smart daughter, was graduating from high school. And I said, oh, yeah, just by the way, you should know. I think now you can know. The only reason you have this daughter is because I bought these fertility dolls in Ghana in Africa, and I brought them home, and they were bought in your name. And then just after I bought them, you two became pregnant. Well, your wife did. The birthing person became pregnant. The man did not become pregnant, but they became pregnant. They had a child, and so I credit myself. So that's what I think of when I see discussion on in vitro fertilization, naturally. Because, it's not just because I'm the hero of this story that I brought home the dolls. And I still have them at home. They're still prominently displayed. And in fact, the father, at least, has come over to the house. And I've said, hey, look, those are the dolls that give you your child. So who needs in vitro fertilization when you've got Ghanese fertility dolls? So we've got that code, but I've got President Trump talking to you yesterday. And the reason it's particularly interesting is the Democrats keep saying they want everything to be affordable, and then they make everything more expensive, like Obamacare. The Affordable Care Act was never actually affordable, as the Washington Post said, because they lie to you about everything. They say we're going to make this less expensive, and they always make it more expensive. So we're going to make it better, and then they demolish it. They destroy it. Everything they touch turns to hooey. I'll just say hooey. And isn't that amazing? Because that's who they are. They destroy everything. They're the left. They're not liberals. They're the left. But isn't it amazing? And so President Trump, not only they say he's going to ban in vitro fertilization, which was always just stupid, and he had never said anything kind, but Democrats said it 1,000 times during the presidential campaign. Some I think might have self-immolated over that, which is kind of funny. And so they got that going for him. Hasn't been a self-immolation by a Democrat recently enough, wouldn't you say, Michael? It's been kind of surprising. I don't know what's going on there. But President Trump making health care more available, more affordable, in vitro fertilization, and another lie that the Democrats told exposed, and it will appear nowhere in the Washington Post or the New York Times or on CNN. Isn't that great? But we do have a lot of other stuff going on as well. For example, John Bolton, with the walrus mustache and stuff. Bolton surrenders. He surrendered. He had to turn himself in to face charges of sharing classified information. Hey, what's the point in keeping your security clearance if you can't share classified information? And so John Bolton indicted on classified materials retention charges. That's kind of like water retention, but different. In Washington, it's classified document retention that everybody engages in. And you keep your classified clearance, your security clearance, because you get jobs where you might have to sit down and talk to people about classified things. But nevertheless, he apparently on his computer had classified, allegedly, information, and he's now facing charges. And I can tell you, even the law professor, who's a smart and honest man, Jonathan Turley, says that the evidence against John Bolton is damning, because it's all right there. Now, there's lots of damning evidence against all kinds of Democrats all over the place, too. And the news media generally doesn't refer to it as damning. They attack the Republicans is what they usually do. Also, the Democrats are planning on, I guess, riots tomorrow. Is that what they're scheduling, riots? They have their No Kings organizer, right? They've got their No Kings rallies tomorrow across the country and here in Washington, D.C. I'm going to go down there with a fire truck, with the kind with the water cannon on the roof. I'm going to borrow it from Dulles Airport. Give me a good hosing down. I'm going to see what I can do anyway. No Kings organizer discourages violence following coast-to-coast arrests. Wait a minute, discourages violence? Why would he have to discourage violence? Oh, yeah, because the Democrat Party is a violent death cult, and they organize mob, political, street violence constantly. It's the norm now, except on January 6th. That was the abnorm. Every other riot was the norm, and mostly peaceful. That's why we have mostly peaceful T-shirts and mostly peaceful coffee mugs at the Chris Plant store on Al Gore's amazing internet. Peace be upon him. See, I'm still playing off of the mailbag questions from the other day, but I'll get back to that later. Yeah, the No Kings. Why would he have to tell people that he's discouraging violence? Because he assumes there will be violence. Progressive watchdog group, that's left-wing radical communist. Progressive watchdog group rejects claims No Kings has turned violent despite arrests, death at demonstrations. Well, they're happy when death happens at what they call demonstrations. I think if there are deaths, you can probably safely call it a riot, don't you think? Well, after all, on Capitol Hill on January 6th, Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed without warning by a racist police officer for the alleged crime of trespassing, and the Democrats were good with that. They applauded that because they love death more than we love life, as Al-Qaeda used to say, but now the Democrats have stolen the Al-Qaeda slogan. So we got that. Progressive watchdog group Public Citizens says its No Kings demonstrations, meaning riots, are meant to defend democracy. They're always defending democracy while they destroy democracy. When the left says they're here to defend democracy, they're actually here to destroy democracy. They're here to do the opposite of what they say they're here to do on almost all occasions. I say it's No Kings meant to defend democracy and protest what organizers call executive overreach. Oh, like Barack Obama using the IRS to target Tea Party groups and patriot groups to keep them on the sidelines during Barack Obama's reelection. Yet nationwide arrests, injuries, and warnings about outside agitators. The Democrat racists in the 1950s used to call everybody outside agitators. And the Democrats are now back to referring to, people who like law and order as outside agitators. Law enforcement are the outside agitators. ICE, Immigration Customs Enforcement, our Border Patrol people, they're the outside agitators. Yeah, the arrests, the injuries, the warnings about outside agitators are adding complexity to that narrative. They have another narrative, don't they? Yes, they do. And so they're plotting, they're scheming, and will there be fatalities over the weekend? Maybe. Will there be injuries and arrests? Most certainly, most definitely. Violence? Oh, guaranteed. Because No Kings. Who was it that the recent assassin that had the No Kings? He had the No Kings flyers in the back seat of his vehicle. Was it? It was which assassin? Which gunman? Which Democrat gunman was it? God, there have been so many Democrat gunmen lately that it's hard to keep them all straight. Was that the Charlie Kirk assassin? It was the Minnesota Catholic school. Oh, the one that shot the lawmakers. That's right. Yeah, he had the No Kings flyers in his. So the Democrats are gathering again Yeah, and then they blamed Republicans for that, right? Because the people that were shot were Democrats. The lawmakers, one killed and spouse killed, and one wounded, spouse wounded. Yeah, they were Democrats. They had voted against the Democrats' pet project to give, remember what the pet project was? To give Minnesota health care to illegal aliens. And these two Democrats voted against giving Minnesota health care to illegal aliens. And then they were shot in their home by the guy with the No Kings flyers in his back seat of his vehicle. The Democrat Party. We've got a lot of stories. We've got John Bolton. We've got blowing up Venezuelan drug cartel boats. We've got an update there. We got a lot for you. Stay right there. We're at 888-630-9625. All right, Michael, let's go to the telephones. A lot more Democrat wackiness still to come. Let's go to Mark, calling from Largo, Maryland. Mark, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey,
Mark.
Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing, buddy?
I'm good.
That's good. What's the polls like right now in Virginia governor's race? Is it? Please tell me Earl Sears has narrowed the gap, because I actually think she could win, because we cannot have an all-genders bathroom with Spanberger. We just can't. Just can't have an all-genders bathroom with her. And the way she acted in the last debate a week ago is an embarrassment. And it really typifies how the Democrats have gotten. They just don't they don't care. They're out for everybody but the American people. They don't care about the American people. All they care about is the LGBT, the alphabet community, that gets more rights than everybody else out there, and the illegals that they want to put in communities where other natural American citizens have been. They just don't care, and I'm pretty kind of pissed off about it. And I've seen it in Virginia where they have all genders bathrooms. In some part of Virginia, can't say where it is because it's classified, but they just got to find a way. We got to block this. Got to find a way to stop it and block it. Personally, if I was running a campaign today or tomorrow, I would run a commercial. This is what Abigail Spanberger wants in all our bathrooms and all our schools and everything else, all genders where everybody's sharing a bathroom. If you do that, I guarantee you it'll turn the tide for Vera Sears. I guarantee you it will. You know, the
Spanberger Democrats are running hit pieces on the wonderful Winsome Sears, smearing her and misrepresenting. Knowingly misrepresenting, saying, I'm talking here like she's the angry one when she was.
And they're not offering anything. That's the sad part about this, Chris.
Yeah.
They're not saying what she's going to do.
Well,
All they keep talking about is. Yeah, go ahead.
You asked, Mark, 2 weeks ago, the Washington Post headline, Spanberger holds wide lead in Virginia governor's race. And then yesterday, the headline is, Sears closes in on Spanberger. Now, the Democrats love bloodshed. They love political violence. They love pandemonium. Pandemonium. It's not just a little Chinese bear, black and white bear. Pandemonium. I know, it's not even a bear. Chinese lie about everything. They're communist. But we've got and our first brilliant caller this morning, Mark, with good questions, well asked. And I can't believe that Spanberger, this Abby Spanberger person, is even holding her own against Winsome Sears, who's a great American woman, an immigrant from Jamaica, an America lover, served in the United States Marine Corps. She is a proud American, and she's on our side. And she's an African-American or Jamaican-American woman, and the Democrats are all voting. In fact, Barack Obama, our first African-American president, came out and said, vote for the white woman, you bunch of racists. Why would anybody vote for the black person? Because, who better to say that than Barack Obama, who himself is African-American.
Hey, where are the white women at?
See, exactly. Cleavon Little knew very well. Now, and I mentioned the clock was running out on us, but Mark said, what's going on with the polls? And again, 2 weeks ago, the Washington Post, Spanberger, Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat, she hates America. She loves people that want to put bullets in your head. If you're another Democrat and you want to be the chief law enforcement officer in Virginia, and you say, oh boy, if I were in a room with Hitler and Pol Pot and the Republican speaker in the State House, I only had 2 bullets. I wouldn't kill Hitler and Pol Pot. I'd just put 2 bullets in the head of the Republican. And gosh, I'd love to see his children die in the arms of their mother, of their little children die in the arms of their young mother. And Abigail Spanberger was asked, would you condemn that? And are you still endorsing him? She's like, hell yeah, I'm still endorsing him. Yeah, I love the idea of shooting the Republicans twice in the head and letting Hitler and Pol Pot live, because Hitler and his Socialist Workers Party, so much like the Democrats today. But the Washington Post writing, Spanberger holds wide lead in Virginia governor's race, post-Schar school poll finds. The Washington Post always focused on the wrong things, naturally. The Democrat is outperforming her ticket in a race. She's outperforming her ticket. Is that a sexual reference? The Democrat is outperforming her ticket in a race. They always got to bring race into it, where the economy is weighing heavily on voters' minds. They have voters with minds, and things are weighing heavily. Democrat Abigail Spanberger leads Republican Winsome Earl Sears by double digits in the contest for governor, according to a Washington Post Schar school poll. It's a Schar school poll of Virginia voters, picking up strong support from independent voters who are racists, as well as those who are worried about the state's job market. Yeah, can't trust a black woman to the job. Better get the white woman, like Barack Obama says, don't you think? Because it's always about race. But the races, see, more race again, are much closer for lieutenant governor and attorney general, where Democratic nominees who tack harder to the left see thinner support from swing voters. When they say swing voters, these are voters that show up at dinner parties and put their car keys in a fishbowl, and then they swap wives later on in the night. That's what Democrat swing voter is. But then, because Mark asked, I then jump ahead to yesterday, and the people at the centersquare.com, Virginia politics. Sears, that's Winsome Earl Sears, the great American. Sears closes in on Spanberger as Obama steps in. New poll shows. Wait a minute, Obama stepped in, and that means the white lady actually decreased her voter strength there. After a stretch of political whiplash in Virginia filled with leaked texts. They're leaked texts. Oh, you mean finding out that the guy who wants to be chief law enforcement officer in Virginia wants to shoot Republicans twice in the head and murder them and see their children die in the arms of their mother? Is those the leaked texts you're referring to? So, filled with leaked texts, televised debates, how dare they, and more finger-pointing than a group project gone wrong. It's a group project gone wrong. I don't know what this is what they're writing. One of the first new polls is finally out. Now, the Trafalgar Group survey, that's the poll conducted October 13th to October 15th, among likely voters, shows Democrat Abigail Spanberger holding a narrow lead over Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, 47.5% to 45.3%. About 6% of voters say they're still undecided, which at this point might just mean tied. That's so they got that. Isn't that amazing? The lieutenant governor's race, the state senator Ghazala Hashmi, and John Reed are locked in a statistical tie, 46.2 to 46.1, with nearly 8% undecided. The Attorney General contest remains the most volatile of the three. Republican incumbent Jason Miyares, a great Attorney General and a great American, son of Cuban immigrants to the United States, leads Democrat Jay Jones, who wants to shoot Republicans in the head and let Hitler and Pol Pot live on. And then he wants to come back and kill your children because he's a Democrat. They harvest the organs of children. Jay Jones, 49.5 to 44.6. But wait a minute. Isn't that amazing? As he leads the Democrat by just a few percentage points. Jason Miyares is great, with around 6% of voters still weighing their options after Jones's leaked text messages made the rounds earlier this month. Now, they don't immediately jump into what he said in the text messages because it'd make the Democrat look bad. So they're done talking about it there. Now, let's go to some audio, Michael, because there was a debate last night. Jason Miyares against the guy who would kill everybody because you know how they are. Those Democrats, they're just bloodthirsty. They're the left. They're not liberals. But Jason Miyares is the ought to be runaway winner in this whole thing. Jay Jones is the Democrat, and they were on the stage together last night debating because each of them wants to be the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Jason Miyares already is, and this guy, he's not Jim Jones from Jonestown, but he's Jay Jones, given an opportunity to start a communist, what would they call it, a commune in Guyana in South America. Here it is, the Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares last night at the debate.
Abraham Lincoln said that character is what you do in the dark when no one is watching. But now we know what he was doing in the dark. Jay Jones was angry at Todd Gilbert. Why? Because Todd Gilbert said kind words about a Democrat that had passed away, Joe Johnson. Jay Jones had said that he wanted to piss on the grave of his political opponents.
Other than that, he seems like a very nice person. He left out that he said if you were in a room, had a gun with only 2 bullets, there was Adolf Hitler, there was Pol Pot, Socialist Workers' Party, Communist Party, some of history's biggest murderers, that he wouldn't shoot Hitler, he wouldn't shoot Pol Pot, he would shoot the Republican leader in the State House, Todd Gilbert. He'd shoot him in the head twice. He only had 2 bullets. Both bullets would go to the head of the Republican. Hitler would live and Pol Pot would live because, you know, the Democrat is just Jay Jones. He's a bloodlusty Democrat. Jason Miyares.
And what did he want to do to Todd Gilbert? 2 bullets to the head. Why? Because he didn't like his politics. What's worse? He wanted Jennifer Gilbert, a mother with 2 small children, ages 2 and 5. He said that he hoped to see their children die in their arms. Why? Because in his own words, he said that pain is the only way that change can occur.
They love pain. They're pain people. They are bullets in the head people because they're not liberals. They're the left. And it's not like it always sounds funny until they start killing people. It actually never sounds funny. But the Democrats have decided that murder is fun. Assassination is fun. They love Luigi Mangione. I think there was a ruling in the Luigi Mangione case. A judge says that he has to be allowed to appear in court, Luigi Mangione. So the girls can line up, and the boys too, because they're Democrats, and they can ooh and ah. They can coo. They can whistle. Isn't that amazing? The current Attorney General in Virginia is Jason Miyares.
I find it a little bit stunning that today you say one of the pillars of your public safety platform is protecting children. Were you protecting Jennifer's children when you said you wanted to see them die in their mother's arms? How can anybody who's ever worked in any of the crimes against children, all of the areas of federal and state local law department, how can they ever take you seriously, be the top prosecutor, knowing that you view that children should die to advance a political agenda? It's unconscionable, and if you were truly sorry, you would not be running for this office because you disqualified yourself.
And again, the woman who's running for governor has been asked, are you still endorsing Jay Jones, who would use 2 bullets not to kill Hitler and Pol Pot, but to shoot and kill the Republican leader in the State House, Todd Gilbert, and then would want his children, 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, murdered and to die in the arms of their mother, while presumably their mother sobbed, and that's the Democrat Party. And she, the woman who wants to be governor, she has been asked again and again, well, are you going to say that you're no longer endorsing him? And she's like, oh, no, I'm endorsing him. I love murder. I'm going to be the chief law enforcement officer in Virginia, Jason Miyares.
The reality, Jay, is that your text messages that advocated for violence against innocent children, Jay, if you were to apply to be a line prosecutor in not just my office, any attorney general office in the country, you would not pass a background check.
Wouldn't pass the basic background check. And Democrat voters look at this and say, well, I'm horny for blood too. I want people to be shot. These are the people that were angry when President Trump was shot through the ear because their boy missed. These are that's a violent death cult. Jay Jones was there on the stage because Jason Miyares was addressing him there, of course, said, so this is the kind of person you are. I wouldn't hire you to be a line prosecutor. You wouldn't pass the background test, and you want to be the chief law enforcement officer, and, you know, you're a bloodlusty boy. Here's Jay Jones, not to be confused with Jim Jones of Jonestown.
You're also going to hear from my opponent about text messages that I sent that I deeply, deeply regret. Let me be very clear.
Deeply.
I am ashamed.
Be clear.
I am embarrassed. And I'm sorry. I am sorry to Speaker Gilbert. I'm sorry to his family.
How come?
I'm sorry to my family. And I'm sorry to every single Virginian.
It's very sorry to everybody.
I cannot take back what I said.
Can't take it back.
But you have my word that I will always be accountable for my mistakes.
Well, in order to be held accountable for your mistakes, you will not be elected as Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia. That would be being held accountable for your mistake. He's deeply, deeply sorry. And he's ashamed. He's very ashamed. And I suspect he's probably got a lot more to be ashamed about then. If the videos come out, Jasmine, am I right? If the videos come out of Jay Jones, I think then he's going to be deeply humiliated and ashamed because I think we all know what's going on in there. Isn't that amazing? He's deeply, deeply sorry, and he's very ashamed. And he'll always be held accountable. But vote for him is what he says. And the Democrat voters say, well, we want more mob political violence, just like they're arranging for tomorrow on their, what's it called, their big tomorrow rally? No Kings. It's their No Kings rally. And who had the No Kings flyers in there? The guy who did kill one Minnesota lawmaker and shot and wounded a second. Yeah, with the No Kings. But pay no attention because it never rubs off on the Democrat Party because the news media, is so corrupt. Now, there are dumb people everywhere, and a number of them are paid millions of dollars by ABC News on a TV show called The View. And yesterday, listen to this. Now, every Republican from President Trump on down has condemned Jay Jones. I almost called him Jim Jones again. Jay Jones and his text messages about murdering people. But on The View, they're so stupid. Listen, if you think you're getting information from The View, then you're a mental gimp. A gimp, I think, is a polite word for this. So yesterday on The View, Joyless Behar, only the Democrats have condemned the language of Jay Jones.
Jay Jones, who's running for Attorney General in Virginia. He's about a 36-year-old man running for Attorney General who had some leaked text messages come out where he aspired to violence against Republicans. I don't know why it's hard for people, and I'm not this table.
I saw that.
Let me just say this.
But then only Democrats denounced him, no Republicans.
But he's a Democrat.
Yeah,
that's my point.
And the Democrats denounced him.
Yeah.
Only Democrats denounced it. Not a single Democrat, including the woman running for governor. No Democrat. There is not they say, well, that language is wrong. And that's it. But I'm voting for him, right? And since no Republican has ever denounced him, only Democrats have denounced him. Here is President Trump.
We've seen that a candidate for Attorney General in Virginia boasted that he would want to see the Republican legislature, a legislator in Virginia, shot in the head and to see his children murdered. He actually said this. And now he continues to run for office, and most people continue to back him. Especially in the wake of Charlie's assassination, our country must have absolutely no tolerance for this radical left violence, extremism, and terror.
Every Republican from President Trump to me, every Republican in the House of Representatives, every Republican in the Senate, every Republican has condemned him. And the comments, I don't think a single Democrat has condemned Jay Jones. Openly, they say, well, that language, I wouldn't use that language. They say things like that. Then they get back to slaughtering children, which they enjoy doing because they need the organs. It's not really their fault. They need the organs. All right, let's go to the telephones, Michael. I see we have, let me see. Let's go to Jerome, calling from Charleston, South Carolina. Jerome, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Jerome.
Hey, Chris.
Yes, sir.
Did you condemn Trump when he said he could stand on the street corner and shoot someone and he wouldn't lose any support? Did you condemn Trump when he said he likes to grab women by the vagina because when you're a celebrity, they let you get away with it? Did you condemn Trump when he said the immigrants are eating people's pets and you didn't see any? I haven't seen any video yet. Huh?
You haven't
seen? What about the Young Republicans Club that made all those racial comments calling black people monkeys, huh? And eating watermelon?
So what?
Did you condemn that?
Let me ask you: who did President Trump talk about shooting?
He said he could stand on a street corner, shoot someone, and he wouldn't lose any support.
Well, here I've got it for you here, Drum. What he said was he could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue, not on a street corner.
My people are so smart. And you know what else they say about my people? The polls. They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
That was a joke, Drum. He was doing shtick. He got laughs from the audience.
Yeah, shtick, yeah.
Because he's doing.
Yeah.
So who did he talk? Who did he talk about? The Speaker of the House.
He's doing shtick. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing shtick, Chris.
No,
yeah. It's very funny.
You said he's Jewish. He's doing shtick. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you
and
can't
what else?
have it both ways,
and you mean when he was
Chris?
having an off-the-record conversation with what was his name, Billy Bush, and Access Hollywood, and now Drum. I don't know if you've ever been a rock star. Have you ever been a rock star?
No, I'm not. I can't play any instruments. I can't dance, and I'm ugly.
Well,
and I'm fat too.
And I'm
There's
fat
my
too.
rock star debut.
Well, you seem like a nice guy, though. I'm sure you do just fine. Look, President Trump does shtick. He does jokes. He wasn't texting someone. He wasn't texting someone about murdering the Speaker of the House and killing their children, was he, Jerome?
No, he said it out loud, and everybody laughed. Hey, there you go. That's the Republican.
That's because it was a joke.
They want it both ways.
Well, yeah, we want it both ways. I got an idea, Drum. It'd be nice if Democrats stopped shooting people. How about that? Don't shoot Trump anymore. He was already shot once, tried to shoot him a second time. Shot Congressman Steve Scalise, don't do that. Shot and killed Charlie Kirk. Maybe they're out there shooting police, attacking federal law enforcement. Maybe the Democrats should become nonviolent. How about that?